rock left and right, back and forth. And take the right arm overhead, shift yourself onto your right side. With the left hand on the floor, make your way up to a tabletop position, hands and knees. With your inhale, look up towards the ceiling, lift your tailbone up. And as you exhale, round in, bring your chin to your chest, tuck your tailbone under, press your palms. Look up, inhale, U-shape your spine. We'll tuck your toes underneath, hips to the ceiling, downward dog as you exhale. And take a moment here, pedal it out, loosen up the back of your legs. And with a gentle bend in both knees, walk the feet up to the top of your mat. Allow the head to hang heavy. So you're in a passive fold. Hold opposite elbows and rock yourself left and right, back and forth. With a bend in both knees, hands on thighs, press up to stand. We'll take the hands to prayer in front of your chest, moving through a few pranayama breaths. Full inhale. Interlace your fingers, the hands down towards the floor as you exhale. Gaze locked on one knuckle. Inhale the hands forward. You're keeping your gaze locked. Lift your chin to feel a stretch in the front of your throat. Reach, flip, and out your mouth. Exhale. Interlace the fingers, hands pressed towards the ground. Let's move through 4 more. Inhale, slow and steady. Gradually inflate. Lift your chin, reach up, expand, flip, out the mouth, like you're encouraging a yawn. Interlace the fingers, hands down. Go through 3 more. Flip, out the mouth. Two more long, consistent breath cycles. Last one. Hands released by your sides, palms open. Shift the weight to your right leg, open your left knee, we're moving to tree pose. So your left foot to the calf or your thigh. We'll bring your hands to prayer in front of your chest. Whoa, hands to prayer. So think of pressing down on your standing foot. So you're lifting the ribs, draw the belly in, and your gaze locked on one point. Notice the smooth flow, the air in and out of the nostrils. Feeling the breeze, sensation deep within. And a clear mind. We'll take one more breath in. Move the knee forward and release your limbs. Take the next side, the weight towards your left leg. Open your right knee. Right foot inside the calf, the thigh, your variation of tree. Hands of prayer when you're ready. Take one more breath in. Move your knee forward and release your limbs. Bring the toes close together. Inhale your arms wide up overhead. Interlace the fingers. Point the tailbone down as you reach your index to the sky. Lean right as you exhale. And still warming your spine. Rise back up, breathe in. Lean left as you exhale. And we'll rise back up to center, breathe in. Lean towards your right. And we'll stay on this side. You're welcome to release your fingertips. Bring the right hand down to the right thigh. Your left fingers expand. So a smooth curve over the left side of your body. One consistent semicircle. And shift yourself back up. We can interlace your fingers. Bend the knees, bend the elbows to feel the stretch in the back of your limbs. And rise back up. Take a breath, expand. Lean towards your left, hips pressed towards the right. You can release the fingers if you like. Your left hand down towards your thigh for support. You're getting a deeper stretch in this variation. Right fingers reach, hips press, but keep your thighs strong so you're supported in the low body. And bring yourself back up, both hands high to the ceiling. Reach. Flip the palms to face forward, feet about hip width, arms parallel to the floor. Breath in, bend the knees, hips down and back. Think of ripping the floor apart with your feet to activate the glute med, the sides of the hips. Then as you lower the seat further, feel the glute max engage. So you're pointing the tailbone away as you're lifting your ribs, and keep your shoulders back. We'll stay here for one more long breath cycle. And begin to straighten your legs. Lift your heels to rise up to tiptoes. Arms stay long. So I'll show you from the side. Your arms are staying long. Bring a bend into the knees. Keep your heels lifted high. And like you're sliding down, maintain the vertical line of the shoulders directly above the hips. You're coming down until you feel your thighs begin to warm. When you feel that activation, hold. One more breath cycle. We'll press into the balls of the feet to rise back up. Take a breath at your peak height. Your heels down, your hands down. Your feet near the top of the mat. I'm going to modify the moto sequence a little bit. It's still moto, still Hatha style, but just letting you know, a bit of adjustment. Arms up, take a breath in, look up. Fold forward as you exhale. Hands down to the mat. Take a moment here. Bend your right knee, bend your left knee, loosening up the back of the legs. We're going to come into a modified lunge a bit early. So gently bend the knees, move your right foot back, right knee down. Untuck your right toes. Take your left hand on your left thigh, come upright, fingers interlaced over your left leg. Think of lifting your ribs up, then press your hips forward. So you might want cushion or support under your right knee. If you have a pillow close by, maybe even doubling the mat if you have a sensitive knee. With your left hand on your left thigh, we'll reach the right arm up to the ceiling and then lean towards your left. So just like crescent moon, you're getting a stretch over the right side of your body. The oblique muscles into the psoas muscle, the front of the hip. Again, hips forward, heart up. And then make your way back upright, both hands to the ceiling to stretch the sides of the torso. Breath in, reach. Hands down to frame your front foot. So hands down, framing front foot. Think of the left hip lightly shifting back. And we'll move your hips down towards the right heel. Your left toes lift up to stretch your left hamstring. So you're drawing the left hip back as you're reaching the heart forward. Stay here for one more breath cycle. And we'll come back up. So your left foot firm on the floor. Tuck your right toes underneath. Straighten the right leg. We'll spring the right foot up to the top of your mat. Lengthen your spine. Take a breath in. Fold forward as you exhale. Let's do this one more time. Breath in to lengthen. Bend the knees, hands down. Shift your left foot back. So same thing. Left knee down. If you want support under your left knee like a pillow or doubling up the mat, you're welcome to do that. When you're ready, the right hand on the right thigh. Come upright. Fingers interlaced over your right leg. Ribs lift. Hips press forward. You're welcome to keep support with both hands on the right leg, but if you want to move to the next step, we'll keep your right hand on the right thigh, the left hand at the ceiling. Breath to reach, lean right. So you're pressing your hips forward, lifting the sternum, feeling the oblique muscle down to the psoas of your left hip. Bring yourself back upright, both arms to the ceiling. Full inhale to reach, hands down to frame the right foot. Take a moment here to set up, moving your hips around a bit, exploring the sensation. Then we'll shift your hips back, lift your right toes up. Make your way towards a hamstring stretch for the right thigh. 3 breaths. And we'll begin to shift yourself back forward. So your right foot back down, Hands frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes underneath. Lift the back knee off the mat. We'll spring your left foot up to the top of the mat, both feet together. Lengthen spine, breathe in. Fold forward as you breathe out. Root the feet to rise up. Hands high to the ceiling, look up. And your palms to prayer with your exhale. Pause for a moment, take a full breath in. And hands by your sides as you exhale. We'll take your arms wide up overhead. Breathe in. Eagle pose. Move your right arm under your left arm. Twist, tie your elbows. Lower your hips down. Lift your right thigh up and over your left thigh. So you can squeeze your legs, lift your elbows, and gently pull your forearms. Perhaps finding a bit more depth in the seat. And one more smooth breath. And lift your right leg up and over, toes together, arms wide. Palms connect above. Make your way to the next side by moving your left arm underneath your right arm. Reach, twist high, hips down, left leg up, thigh up and over. Three, perhaps squeezing thighs closer. Two, lowering the hips. And one, we'll lift your left leg up and over, the toes together, arms wide overhead. Palms connect, hands to prayer in front of your chest. Pause for a moment, take a full breath in. We'll lower the seat down and back, making your way to prayer twist. Lengthen your spine, twist to the left first. So your right elbow outside of your left thigh. Hips lower down, core drawn in, look towards the ceiling. Take one more inhale. Twist to face the floor with your exhale. We'll press into the feet to rise. Hands high, look up. Gently lean back. Hips forward, heart lifted. Feeling a gentle vibration deep within the torso, the intercostal muscles working. And rise yourself back up. Hands to prayer in front of your chest. Inhale. Bend the knees to lower the hips down and back. Lengthen your spine, twist the next way with your left elbow outside of your right thigh. Lower the seat. Think of your left hip moving back. Low belly drawn in. Take one more breath in and twist to face the floor with your exhale. Root the feet, rise up, hands high, look up. With your exhale, the hands wide. Hands to the low back behind you, palms faced in. Lift the sternum, elbows close together, and gently lean back, engaging the glute muscles. And rise yourself back upright, release your hands. If you want to grab some water, go for it. We'll meet in Tadasana with your feet about hip width. When you're ready, your hands onto your hips. Gently bend the knees. Lift the sternum and then hinge with a flat back. When you feel you're at your edge of the range in the hamstrings, you can release the low back, letting yourself fall forward. Take a moment here, bend one knee, bend the other, back and forth. And lengthen up, breath in. Bend the knees, hands down, right foot back. We'll press into your left foot to rise up, runner's lunge. So your thumbs point away, shoulder blades move closer. Get the sternum is reaching forward. So again, left hip back, right thigh active. 3 breaths. After the third, the hands shift through and up, crescent lunge. Bend your back knee, lift the gaze, lift the sternum. 3 more breaths. Let's take one more full inhale, expand. Hands come down to frame your front foot. Once hands are down, bend the back knee, spring the right foot forward. Lengthen your spine. Take a breath in. fold forward as you breathe out. Lengthen up. Breathe in. Bend the knees, hands down, your left foot back. And when you're ready, press into your right foot. Shoulders back and down, thumbs point away. Keep your back heel lifted. Navel drawn in. 3 breaths. Begin to shift yourself in a crescent lunge. Move your arms through and up. Bend your back knee, lift the sternum, lift the gaze. So crescent moon shape. From your fingertips to your hips to your back heel, one consistent semicircle. We'll take a breath to expand. And your hands come down to frame your front foot. Once your hands have touched down, bend the back knee, spring the left foot forward. Flat back. Inhale. Fold, exhale. Root the feet, rise up, hands high, look up. Palms at prayer with your exhale. Pause for a moment, take a breath in, and hands on the hips as you exhale. Gently bend the knees. Move your right foot 3/4 of the way back, setting up for Warrior 1. Virabhadrasana 1. So your back foot angled 45 degrees. Both hips squared forward, arms through and up. Bend your front knee as you root the right heel down. Think of lifting your ribs as you're finding more depth in the front knee. Again, right psoas, right calf muscle, a posterior tilt of your pelvis. Shoulders softened, sternum lifted. One more long breath. Straighten left leg, lift open. Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2. Walk the right foot back. Bend your left knee. So your ribs stacked above hips. Find more space under the pelvic floor. Full breath in. Sink a bit deeper if you can into the pose. Then open the palms to face the far wall. Take the front forearm down. Look up towards the ceiling of the triangle. So bent knee triangle with support. Lift the top hip, tuck your back glute under. And perhaps a squeeze of the feet to activate the inner thighs. Let's take one more inhale. Look down to the floor. Press into your front foot, shift back up, Warrior 2. Stay here, breathe in. And a full breath out. Rotate your front hand, reverse it back. Lift your front arm up, your back hand to your thigh or the low back. Then deeper in the front knee, expand the side of the body. 3 breaths. And make your way back up into Vira 2. Stay here, full inhale and complete exhale. Hands on hips, straighten the front leg, heel toe your back foot in. Pivot the body to face the front of the mat, bend the back knee, spring the back foot forward. With a bend in both knees, next side. Left foot, 3/4 of the way back. Hips forward, root the back heel, arms through and up. Bend into the front knee. Long, consistent breaths. And with your next inhale, straighten the right leg, open up into Warrior 2. Left foot walks back, bend into the front knee. So again, you're playing with the stretch underneath your pelvic floor. Perhaps a deeper bend, a greater opening in the front hip. A couple long breaths, fidgeting, adjusting, finding optimal alignment. Then open your palms to face the side of your space. Take the front forearm down, reach up towards the ceiling. Bent knee triangle. You're looking up, opening the side of the body, lifting the hip. Maybe bending deeper into the front knee. Pull on the front heel. Back thigh strong, low belly contained. One more long breath. and gaze down. Press the front foot, Vira 2. Front knee stays bent. Breathe in. And a full release. Rotate the front hand, reverse it back. So lift your front arm up. Back hand to the thigh, the low back. Expand the side of the body. One more inhale. And shift yourself back up into Warrior 2. Stay here. Inhale. And a full exhale. Hands on hips. Straighten front leg. Toes pivot in to the side of your mat. Toes in, heels open. Bend the knees. Lift the heart up. Hinge with a flat back. Your hands can lower down to the floor, to the mat. Take a moment, bending one knee then the other. Release what's tight. And shift your hands to the top of the mat. Take your front foot to the back of your mat, downward facing dog. Bend your right knee, then your left knee, back and forth. Make your way up into high plank, top of a push-up. Hold, core contained, thighs strong. You can lower the knees if you like. Take a full inhale. Bend the elbows for 3, slow and steadily lower. For 2, still hovering off the mat, we'll touch down on 1. 3 baby cobras. Peel up, engaging your thighs. Lower down as you exhale. 2 more times. Lift, engage, pull the hands. Lower, exhale. And 1 more. Lift, hold, lower to the mat. Press the knees, lift the hips. Press the hands, tabletop. Knees wide, child's pose. Hips to heels. Take a few breaths. And rise back up, table. Toes tuck, hips up, down dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Let's rise back up to high plank. Hold for a moment. Biceps forward. Grip the floor. So we're not dumping into your palms, your wrists. You're spreading the weight out. One line from the heels to the crown of the head. You're drawing the belly in, engaging the muscles along the torso for 3. Again, biceps forward, broad upper back. Hold for 2. Take a full inhale. Your hips to the ceiling, down dog on 1. Bend right, bend left. With a bend in both knees, hands walk back to feet. You can scoop up your big toes or step on the fingers. Maybe your toes right up to wrist crease. And your hips are rising, the sternum forward. Few breaths. And release. You can use your hands to walk up the legs or stack the vertebrae one at a time. Slow and steady, rise yourself to stand. When you're all the way up, your shoulders to your ears. Back and down. Hands on hips. Gently bend the knees. We'll step forward with your left foot. Lean in. Lift your right foot off the floor. Inhales length. Exhales hinge. And your hands by your sides when you're ready. Thumbs point away. Toppling tree, 3 breaths. We'll bring the back knee through. Lift your right knee up, fingers under the right thigh, and lengthen out the right leg. One more inhale, and land the right foot on the floor in front. Hands back on hips, grow tall, lean forward, lift your left foot off the floor. Inhales to lengthen, exhales to hinge. And again, 3 breaths, perhaps thumbs point away. Begin to move your back knee through. Lift the left knee up, perhaps fingers under your left thigh, and lengthen out your left leg. And bring a bend to your left knee, foot on the floor. Arms up to the ceiling. Move into dancer's pose. Right hand back, bend your right knee. Pick up the inside of your right foot. Kick down and back. Three, 2, and on 1, the knees together, and release the limbs. Next side, arms back up. We'll take your left hand back, bend your left knee. Pick up the inside of your left foot. Begin to kick down and back. And 3 breaths. And knees back together. And release. Let it go. Shoulders up, back, and down. Let's do one final tree to close off the standing series. Weight in the right foot, open your left knee. So again, your heel could touch the ankle, maybe the foot to the calf, or the foot to the thigh. We'll begin with your hands of prayer. And once you feel stable and centered, take your variation of tree. One more breath in. Knee forward, hands at prayer. Release. Next side, weight to the left leg, open the right knee. Heel to ankle, foot to calf, or the thigh. Hands at center. Take your variation. Release your hands back to center, right knee forward. Let it go. Shoulders up, back and down, and make your way towards your mat. If you want to grab some water along the way, of course, feel free to take a moment. We'll be about 10 seconds or so in Shavasana, so whatever adjustments that are useful. Washroom, Kleenex, etc. Oh yeah. Meet you in Shavasana in 10 breaths. Roll by the knees, feet on the floor. And take your right heel to the ceiling, fingers behind the right thigh. As you push the low back down, reach the right heel up. You'll take the right ankle onto the left thigh. Right hand presses right leg. Left foot off the floor, fingers behind left hamstring or left shin. Your low back can press down, a gentle rock, left and right. Lower the left foot down, lower the right foot down, Shavasana. Both legs lengthened and relaxed. Rebend the knees, feet back on the floor, next side. Left heel to the ceiling, fingers behind the left hamstring. Low back down, left heel up. Pull on your thigh. Left ankle on right thigh. Left hand presses left leg. And thread the needle. Fingers behind right hamstring or shin. And your right foot down, your left foot down, legs lengthen out, back to relaxation. Try to keep the mind still. Just aware of how you're feeling in your hips. Aware of the impact of the breath. Feet back on the floor. Keep your knees bent. Push the low back down. Feet off the ground. Move the feet further away. Hands on thighs. Push your legs as your legs pull. So you're opposing the forces of the limbs. Keeping your low core active for 3. Upper body pushes, low body pulls. The shake builds for 2. And your feet down on 1. Knees left, then right, back and forth. And back at center. Heels close to glutes. Press the feet to lift the hips up. Shoulders tucked, fingers interlaced. As the heels root down, hips lift high. 3 breaths. Fingers release, come down vertebrae by vertebrae. And once the hips have touched, bring both knees in. Give your legs a hug. Rock left and right. Feet back down, right arm up, roll to your side, and shift yourself to your stomach. So we'll move into spine strengthening poses. Hands by your sides, toes walk back. Lift your chin, ribs, gently pull the hands like you're moving your sternum forward, feeling the muscles along the spine engage. 2 breaths. And on 1, we'll lower back down, look towards the right, hands by your sides. Relax. Chin back on the ground, hands behind you. Interlace the fingers behind the low back. Chin, ribs up, feet, knees, thighs up. So everything up off the floor. 3, 2, and lower down on 1. Look left. Release. And back to center, chin back on the floor. We'll come into floor bow. Bend your knees, reach back to hold the outsides of your feet. Lift your chin, lift your ribs up, just start to kick back. So your thighs are lifting, gaze forward. Try to feel the opening in the biceps. 3 breaths. Hold for 2. And lower down on 1, hands on the floor. Press the knees to lift the hips first. Tabletop, knees wide, child's pose. And rise back to table. Toes tuck, hips up, down dog. Breathe in and breathe out. Shift up to high plank. Lower the knees if you want. Slow and steady come down. You can touch if you like. Find your variation. Perhaps all the way to up dog. Up to you. Through the knees, downward dog. Take a full inhale and complete exhale. Do 3 more flows. Pick the variation, so how far down you want to go. Knees can lower at any point, maybe touching the mat or not. And after you feel you've completed 3, we'll eventually move towards a child's pose. And a few long breaths there. And shift back up. Bring the knees right up behind your wrists. Knees wide, toes together. We'll move into sleeping hero pose. So hands on the floor behind you. You can walk the hands back. Perhaps you're lowering an elbow down at a time. Perhaps coming all the way down onto your shoulders if you want to go that far. And start to rise back up. Make your way towards downward dog to counter the previous pose. Knees down. Hands walk back. Stand upright on your knees. Hands to low back behind you. Lift the heart up. Your elbows close together. Begin to tilt back. So the glutes are fired up. The sternum lifted high. As your elbows move closer, you could move one hand to an ankle, to a heel, making your way towards camel. And one hand, low back, rise up, take a seat, hips to heels, hands on thighs, and your palms faced up. Make your way back to a downward dog. Hands and knees, toes tuck, hips up. Breathe in, out your mouth. We'll go through one more flow. High plank, down to chaturanga, hover off the mat. Ribs through, lift to upward facing dog. And your hips high to downward dog. Full inhale, complete exhale. Lift your left leg up high. Take a breath in. Move your left knee to your right elbow. Core strong. Left leg back up to the ceiling. Breathe in. Move your left knee to your nose as you exhale. Your left leg back up. Take a breath in. Move your left knee behind your left wrist. Angle your front shin, moving towards pigeon pose. Your right leg walks back. Fold over your left leg when you're ready. And take about 5 breaths here. And after you feel you finished off the 5th, your hands back on the floor. Tuck your back toes underneath. Lift the same leg. So left leg way up high, open at your hip. Level back off, lower your left foot down. Take your right leg to the ceiling, breathe in. Right knee, left elbow. Right leg back to the ceiling, breathe in. Move the right knee to your nose, like you're lifting the right leg up. Right leg to the ceiling, breathe in. Take the right knee behind the right wrist. Angle your front shin. And walk your left leg back. And whenever you're ready, one elbow down at a time. And take 3 more smooth breath cycles. And your hands back on the floor. Tuck your back toes. Right leg to the ceiling. Lift and open. And level back off. Right foot back down. Last flow if you want to take it. And we'll lower the knees down. Both legs out in front. We'll keep the right leg long, left foot inner right thigh. So again, right leg long, left foot inside of the right thigh. Arms up, twist left. Move your right elbow, inner right leg, left arm up to the ceiling. Look up to your left thumb. Maybe your left fingers towards the right toes. And come back up. Shift your body so you're looking towards the right thigh. Shoulders squared, arms high. Fold over the right leg. Rise back up, switch. So you're lengthening out your left leg. Take your right foot, inner left thigh. Start with both arms high. We'll twist towards your right. Move your left elbow, inner left leg. Right hand to the ceiling, maybe right hand towards left foot. And shift yourself back upright. Shift your body, look towards the long leg, arms high. Fold over your thigh. come back up. Soles of the feet connect. Cobbler pose. Heels close to pelvis. Grow tall. Sternum forward. Fold over your feet. Rise back up, hands on knees, close the legs. Give your legs a hug, shin tucks in, lean back. And release. Scoot the seat forward. Lay onto your back. We'll finish with a spinal twist so the knees stay bent. Lift the right leg up and over, thigh over thigh, both legs off the ground. Legs towards your left, left hand on top. Reach the right hand away. And the gaze back up, legs back up, unbind. Adjust the hips. Left leg up and over. Feet off the floor, legs right, right hand on top. Reach with your left arm. Look towards left thumb. Gaze up, legs up, unbind, feet on the floor, knees open. You can lift one or both legs up, go for happy baby. You can reach the heels away. And maybe a rock, left and right. And your heels back together, lengthen the legs. And relax. So again, the eyes closed, the muscles in the face calm. Broaden the eyebrows, unhinge the jaw. Just keep your focus attached to where you're feeling it. Let that anchor your awareness. Thanks all for coming this evening. Of course, you are more than welcome to stay here, to embrace the meditation, to continue practicing what peace feels like for you. I hope to see you online again soon. Have a great rest of your evening. Namaste.